This is Corey Ames from Lakeland Baseball, and you're watching Lakers Nation.
Are you from Mattoon?
I'm from Lerna, actually, and I went to school in Charleston, Illinois.
What do you study here at Lakeland College?
I actually switched my major. Before it was elementary education, and now it's political science.
Do you like Lakeland College as far as academics go?
I really like this school. You always see on TV with the big universities and the big classrooms, and the teachers don't even know your name, but I can honestly say that I have friendships with some of the teachers here, so it's nice to know that a teacher knows your name and you can go to them at any time and ask for help.
How did you get enrolled in the baseball program?
I was playing for my high school team, and during PE, our PE teacher drugged me into his office, which is also our baseball coach, and he said that I had an email from Coach Jarrett here at Lakeland, and he wanted to recruit me. So that's how I got here, was from Coach Jarrett, not from Coach Simmons.
What is your position?
I pitch.
As far as curveballs or fastballs, what would be your favorite?
I think my changeup is my best pitch. I haven't always had a changeup, but some coaches have pointed me in the direction of grips and all that, and so it's coming around, and I think that's my best pitch as of right now.
What would be your strength as far as pitching?
Well, right now it's hard to say because I haven't been pitching as well as I should be, but I really think that my ability to hit the inside corner, I think that a lot of pitchers look away from that because they're afraid that they're going to hit the batter, but to be a successful pitcher, you got to learn how to use the whole plate rather than just half of it.
Was there a big gap between the level in high school and junior college?
Definitely. You always heard stories from the guys last year who said that this conference is no joke, and I always thought myself was a great high school hitter, but when you come to college, they have scouting reports on you, and the team knows what you can and can't hit at any point, any at bat. So just the level of the pitching too was a big difference. Just the speed and the the breaking of the breaking balls or the mile an hour off the changeups. Like just every pitch was enhanced by 50, it seemed like.
This winter, obviously, you couldn't use the field.
No, we couldn't use the field, and we had very late practices because we had to share the gym with every athletic team here. So we had to share with volleyball and girls basketball, guys basketball, and so we found ourselves here at probably midnight, 12:30, just taking ground balls.
Do you think it played against you when you went down south?
Yes, definitely. I think that any time that you take ground balls on the gym floor, everything's going to be true and smooth, but when you get on the field, you have to deal with the lip or a pebble. I mean, just anything could misread a ball. So it was definitely a disadvantage to us, especially in the cages too as our hitters. Like our pitchers would throw live to them, but then it just seemed like when we got outside, we were just baffled.
How many hours of work do you have to put every week?
We practice every day from about, well, not every day, I shouldn't say. On weekends, it's determined how we do throughout the week, but we usually go from 3 to 6 every day now that we're outside. So,
what can you tell me about Coach Simmons?
Coach Simmons, he was our hitting coach last year for a little while, and then he was ill, so we didn't get to see him as much, but the time that I got to see him was in the summer when he informed me that he was going to be the new head coach, and I knew that he would be good for the job because he played baseball at a university at Illinois State, and he knows how to win, and he preaches how to win. So,
pitching is not his specialty, so how do you guys practice then?
Coach has often reminded us that pitching is like Chinese to him. It's hard to learn, but he will usually get emails from our coaches or text messages, and he will have us, most of the pitchers most of the time are on their own. They just really got to know what they're supposed to be doing that day, and it's up to us to make sure that we get stuff done. Because Coach Simmons has hitters to worry about, and so we just got to make sure the pitching captains let everyone know what we're supposed to be doing that day and get the job done.
If you had one mentor in the big leagues, who would it be?
Andy Pettitte from the New York Yankees. He's been my favorite pitcher ever since I can remember. He just knows how to pitch. I think his age has determined where he wants to go with the ball. He's developed new pitches because of his arm, and I know he's been accused of using steroids, but I don't think, in my opinion, that steroids really help a pitcher rather than just recovery. I don't think it makes you throw the ball any harder or anything like that. I just think the recovery time that you're able to throw, and as long as you can go in the game, I think that's the only thing. So.
Welcome back to Lakers Live. We now continue with Coach Tony Simmons. Coach Simmons, can you address the current state now of the pitching rotation?
Current state is, obviously we have Kern McNeely and Nick Balder, our top two pitchers. And I think that after his third performance, Jordan Amelong is probably our three now. He pitched incredible against Lincoln Land the other day. I think it was 5 innings again, 1 hit. And his performance before that was awesome at, I think it was Carl Sandburg. So I think Jordan's our number 3. Again, Jeff Jenkins, we've got to look at that because Jeff was our 3, and Jeff could still be the 3, but I like the idea, I think, of having Jeff start some, but then also be available to be a reliever in some of those key conference games. I've got a chart I keep here. In fact, it's in front of me of who's going to start what games, and I've got it all the way through the rest of the year. And, you have some gaps in there that allow you to have some of your guys that are starters come back maybe because they don't start for 7 or 8 days. On that third day, they can pitch, a couple innings for you. So from this point on, our top 6, 7 pitchers are probably going to be the guys that pitch for the most part in conference. So that's really a nice feeling. I think that, this week, Tuesday, we'll probably throw core games because he hasn't thrown in a while. We'll pitch him in the first game, and then the second game we'll probably do by committee. We'll throw Amlong a little bit, Jenkins a little bit, Zarusin a little bit, and get them ready. And then Casey Kaskaski on Thursday will start Ballater. That's a 9-inning game, just one game. And then Saturday we'll have Kern McNeely and then Jordan Amlong to go on that game. So I think our rotation from now on will probably only be about 4 starters. You'll have Ballater, McNeely, Amlong, and then Jenkins maybe is the other one. Or I could have Zarusin or Ames be there with Jenkins, being a guy that we use a lot, in conference. So I think that's where we're at right now with our rotation.
Okay, so now we let's go right to the bullpen. Now you're at this stage of the season. Mm-hmm. Is it shaken out now? Can you kind of see who's good in what role now, relief wise? Yeah,
I think that Pat Coleman again will continue to come in, give us some relief. He'll pitch, with nobody on, or you could bring him in with bases loaded to get a ground ball. I think that Evan West is very strong in the pen. And Zarusin, of course. And then, like I said, I think you'll have Jenkins and Ames that you can use in the pen at times because of the way the game schedules are stretched out. Now, rain can affect that, so we'll see how that works out. But, I think having, Ames and Jenkins and Zarusin in the bullpen, that's a pretty strong bullpen. And then you've always got Massengill to close, and I think that he showed he can do that on Friday. Mm-hmm. That was quite impressive. He came in and threw to 3 batters and made them look pretty silly. Mm-hmm. And I know he was throwing up over 90 for sure. And, and he's got a very strong curveball. For a guy that throws 90, I think that third batter come in and he just blew those fastballs by the first 2 guys. And that third guy come in there, I think, thinking he was going to see a fastball, and he threw that curveball and just buckled his knees. Mm-hmm. So Jared's nice to have there. He can't throw very often. He does have arm issues, but he can certainly come in and throw for an inning like that, too. So
now, we a little while ago we hit on the subject of your 9th place batter just because he was on every time at bat. Mm-hmm. Let's take that to the top of the order, Marshall Creed. Mm-hmm. How big a deal is it going to be for the Lakers that he or whoever leads off for you is going to be getting on now?
Well, of course it is. That's Marshall does a very good job at that. He's very patient. He's not very tall, so his strike zone is small. He stands on the plate. It's ridiculous. When I throw to him in batting practice, it drives me crazy. So he's right on the plate. He's small, and he's patient. So, he's a good combination of what you want in a leadoff hitter. The problem we have now is when you and I talked about that this morning in my office, we have some guys that are really good hitters that aren't going to be in every game. We've got 5 outfielders that can play and hit. We've got, of course, Jordan Manny. I think it's his hitting around 333. Marshall's at 364 right now, team leading. And then you have Loudon, Dayton, McDuffie, and David Peters. You got, those guys can all hit the ball. So it's a good problem to have, but it's a bit of a problem, because there's the first game we had McDuffie, playing left field, batting second, and you got Dayton on the bench and Loudon on the bench. I DH Peters there. And then what I just did is after 2 at-bats, I let Loudon come in and DH, and when they went to the different pitcher. But, that's I got to figure it out, and it may not get figured out because, I was telling Johnny Dayton the other day, I said, I wish, you guys could play their positions, but we have 5 outfielders that can hit. And so it's a good problem to have,
It's